All right, welcome to our lesson on the percent proportion. As you know, percent means per 100. To find a percent, you need to compare the part to the whole or the total. So, because of that, we can actually make a proportion. A proportion, remember, is two equal ratios. So if I'm comparing my part compared to my whole, that's a ratio. And I can set it equal to comparing the percent to 100. This makes a lot of sense because if I was taking a quiz or a test, the part that I get right always goes on top out of the whole number of questions on the test, also known as the total. So the total or the whole can be on the bottom. So what the teacher would do is she would figure out my grade based on the part compared to the whole, and that would make a percent number out of 100. And we always compare our percents to 100 since percent means per 100, so I'm not going to highlight that because it's always the same right there. There's another way that you can think of this, and the way people remember it a lot of times is the is compared to the of, is over of, equals the percent compared to 100. Now the reason this makes sense is because let's say I had a quiz and it was out of 50 points. And I found out that I got a 45. 45 is the part that I got correct. It is how many I got right. So is and part go together. And it was out of a total or a whole of 50. So is and part really mean the same thing, and of and whole also mean the same thing. And then of course the right hand side of our proportion, this ratio is the exact same, percent compared to 100. So again, you can think of it as part to whole equals percent over 100, or you can think of it as is over of equals percent over 100. In order to solve a percent problem, your very first step is going to be identifying the is and the of and the percent. So in other words, the part and the whole and the percent. Now, because we're using the percent proportion, one of these is going to be our mystery number, our variable. The next thing you're going to do is set up the numbers using this percent proportion or this percent proportion, because as I just explained, they're the same. And then you're going to solve using cross multiplying. You're going to solve your proportion. So let's go ahead and try two of the problems, and then I'll let you do the rest on your own. It says, what percent of 50 is 18? Now, clearly my is 18. It says is 18. Now I need to figure out what percent in the of 50 means. Now it says what percent, which means I don't know what percent this is. I'm not sure. What percent? I'm not sure, so I'm going to put an X. X percent. We don't know. Of 50. So that's going to be my total. So what percent of 50 is 18? I can go ahead and set up what I know. I know that my part is 18. I know that it's total out of 50. I don't know my percentage, but percentages are always out of 100. So what I can do here is just go ahead and use my cross multiplication. So x times 50 is 50x equals 18 times 100 is 1800. And then all I do is I divide by 50. And I get x equals 36, and then of course I need to label it because it was a percent. I'm going to use my percent sign. Now that would make sense because if you got an 18 out of 50 on your quiz, that would be a 36%. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and look at number 3 with you as well. It says, what is 47% of 70? Now one common error is that people see is in 47 and they get excited and they think that's our part. But it's not. 47%, it's got a percent label, so I know that it's my percent. And I see of 70, so I'm going to know that that's my total. Now this question is a little bit different. It says, what is? In other words, I don't know what my part is. I know it was out of 70. I know I got a 40%, but I don't know what my part is. That's going to be my x. So is over of x over 70 equals, my percent is 47, and of course it's out of 100. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross multiply, and I get 47 times 70, which is 3,290, equals 100 times x, which is 100x. I divide both sides by 100. I don't really have room, so I'm going to show an arrow up this way. And I get 32.9 equals x. So that means 32.9 out of 70 is going to be 47%. And so you can pretty much figure out the rest. One thing I want to point out is the only time you put a percent symbol is when you were solving for the percent. So when the x is above the 100. In this case, this is just a number. It's a part. So I don't need a percentage sign. All right, the rest is up to you. Thank you very much. Have a good day.